this year's convention and the SABA's AGM, specifically who is involved in organizing the event and what would be the theme for this year?
Yeah, thank you very much for the questions in that regard. For this year, the SABA family will be convening in Zimbabwe at the Victoria Falls, and this is a decision that was taken at the last board meeting and of SABA in South Africa. And then as a family, as you know, within SADC, as public broadcasters, we always meet so that we can appraise ourselves, share in best practice. And then in this instance, we must also follow through with the matters that are linked to governance. That's why the AGM is also going to be held there. And the theme for this year is themed around content, connectivity, and collaboration in the space that we are in, within a highly AI environment. So we need to understand what is happening. So for that, outside our normal board meetings, we will then have this convention where the SABA Secretariat, together with our technical partner called Broadcast Media Africa, will then arrange for these interventions where we will bring in experts that will speak around the thematic nature of what we are planning.
So what key issues are expected to be discussed at this conference, and how do these compare to the outcomes of this year?
Yeah, look, part of what forms part of what we're also doing is the SDGs as well as linked to the UN. Between SABA and the United Nations within the region of SADC, we have agreed that there's a couple of SDGs that we will be following through. Namibia is one such country that will partake, and then it's Namibia, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think it might be Seychelles, and I'm not too sure whether it's Eswatini or so. But what we've agreed, some of these countries will then model this around program making, so that at least we can look at some countries to see how far have they come insofar as the SDGs are concerned. So that's one element. And equally, at the level of executive, we also need to take stock of how we are driving SABA as an entity that is trying to improve on broadcasting generally. As you will know by now, the television news program Iron SADC is really running quite well, because the stories that we are getting are such that they give you an immediate glimpse of what is happening within the region. Equally linked to that, we also have the radio current affairs program called SADC 360. That one is curated in Maseru in Lesotho, whilst Iron SADC is curated in Windhoek, Namibia. So, and when we're looking at what AI will be doing, as we were saying, there's a plethora of specialists that have been invited. Some members from the NBC will also have the opportunity to go and join, so that we can make the event a success.
So how has this region progressed in terms of sharing content and exchange experiences?
Yeah, no, that has gone quite well. And already, if I use the Iron SADC as an example, we are quite happy so far with the delivery. And then in terms of generic and general programming, that we've left open to the individual stations to have their relations linked to that as well. And then for Namibia, you will know that between us and Angola, we already, from a radio perspective, have a radio program that runs on Saturdays and Thursdays, and Tuesdays, called Tafish. And then linked to that as well, when we went to visit the Angolan counterparts, they gave us a studio for where we could broadcast from. In fact, it went beyond SABA, because programs like Good Morning Namibia and the Nina Show and all of those, we could broadcast from those studios in Angola. So that is just a demonstration of how well our relationships are. And then from time to time, there's exchange of general program material that we have between our respective countries. And also be mindful that in Tanzania, Ion SADC is broadcast in Kiswahili. They translate it 100% into that language. And that is because the Tanzanian people are predominantly speaking Kiswahili as a first language. So we are happy with that as well.
Are there any upcoming plans or projects for SABA currently rolling out?
Well, there's a couple of programs we are looking at sort of enhancing the aspect of women in the media. SABA is also looking at bringing out now an awards type of system that will reward journalists and program makers within the region. So there's a host of things that I believe that are positive that will one way or the other impact all of us within the region from a broadcast perspective. So these are the plans, and the Secretariat, I think, is very advanced in terms of what they've arranged and what these things will be. But all in all arrangement for the Victoria Falls, Zimbabwe meeting, all the Director General, CEOs and Managing Directors of the respective entities are there. And this includes also our technical partners that are working with us as well.
Who are the expected attendees at this event?
Yeah, as I said, it will be all the CEOs, DGs, and managing directors, some program makers, but also content creators that are not necessarily in the public broadcasting space, but also from outside entities that are there. Because what we've come to realize that content creation knows no boundaries. Yeah. It wouldn't matter where you are. So that element is managed between our Secretariat together with our partner Broadcast Media Africa.
Is there any additional information, insights President would like to say?
No, not really much. But we are saying we are happy. We've gone a long way in making sure that things are happening. We are happy to have the UN as a partner that is believing in what we do. And also, in somehow, one must also thank our respective governments for creating the platforms where we can also operate within the ambit of SADC as well. In fact, the most appealing one is that we've been having now some broadcasters that are outside SADC that also want to join the movement here. So it means then there's something good that we're doing about this. But generally, we are happy with what we have.